Hi, it's Hans at happierman.com. Today's topic is Christmas gift ideas. Well, the first thing I wanted to say about this would be it's much simpler if you don't have too many people to give Christmas gifts to. If you're in a large family or a large extended family or a lot of friends where the custom is to give gifts, or you're with colleagues where you're giving gifts, that becomes extremely bothersome and a nuisance, in addition to being an expense that I don't want. As a happier man, I find it much easier, nicer, and more special if I'm only buying for a small number of people and giving gifts to a small number of people. If I've got to give all kinds of gifts to all kinds of people, it quickly becomes a chore and a burden rather than something special and a joy, right? So I guess if you find yourself kind of disliking the Christmas time, you probably have way too many people to buy for. So, like in my case, I have two kids, and I always have enjoyed giving them gifts. And all these years, they're adults now, but I still love spending some time getting them gifts and kind of giving them, up to my affordability is maximizing it, right? Not minimizing it, maximizing what I give to those two. They're my loves. They're the most precious thing to me. So I feel good when I give them as much as I can at Christmas time and other special times of the year, but especially at Christmas. I have other, a family, but we've consciously tried to bring the focus down off of excessive gifts, gifting, with the name exchanging and keeping the level of the money spent to a reasonable level. So I find that all pretty good. A good tip, if you've got an extended family, the exchanging names really helps to keep your gift giving under control. Similar, sometimes, like even if you have a good working relationship with colleagues, you may be tempted to be giving them gifts, but maybe a better model is to just a white elephant type of a thing where you get a gift and it's an exchange, and that'd be a little more fun and a little less nuisance and a lot less expensive, right? Friends, moment here, got to get past this truck. I don't want to get cut off. It seems like he's weaving toward me. Friends, I got a bunch of guy friends, a bunch, and it's never been the custom for us to give each other gifts, which has been quite nice. So if you have a bunch of friends and you're starting to get in this idea of giving each other gifts, I would consider not doing that. You as a happier man would be buying stuff for yourself as you need and want throughout your life. You should be spending plenty of money on your own needs and wants and not expecting other guys to give you gifts. Now, that being said, there's probably going to be times where you give your friends some gifts, right? But certainly not every year. Birthdays, like I had a birthday, that seems really, really excessive to me. There might be extremely special times where you give your friends gifts. Perhaps, if they get married, you'd be giving a wedding gift. If you're the groom getting married, you're probably going to give your guys that stand up some sort of a gift. There may be other special times where it seems appropriate where you give a friend a gift, but I would tend to think you wouldn't be obligated to give your friends gifts at their birthdays and Christmases and every year. It would just be special times. And Christmas, because Christmas comes every year, I wouldn't call it a special time in regards to friends, because it comes every year, right? Now, it would be special to your children and your significant other. I would call that reasonable. So getting a few other tips. So by keeping the number of gifts down, you can more fully enjoy the getting of the obtaining of the gifts for your special people more. It becomes a little more, it's more doable if you don't have so many people to buy for and to shop for and to get for. And even if you're buying stuff, let's say online, there's still a certain amount of effort and expense and all of that that's necessary. Maybe the online is simpler than in years past, where you'd go into the stores and get stuff, but it's still you making some decisions, getting the stuff, paying for it, wrapping it, hauling it. There's still that. So I like to start maybe partway through the year making lists. So I have all the normal people I buy for, the kids and the family, and because the family you don't always buy for them every year because of this name changing idea. I can just roll these ideas into future years, right? If I have ideas for my brother, sister, mom, niece, and so on, I can make note of that and roll that into future years. That being said, since you're special people, you'd probably want to keep track of what you buy in those special people year by year. Don't throw that away so you don't make a lot of repeats. If you buy your kids the same thing every year, maybe that isn't as special as it should be, right? So I just keep a running list, of what you've gotten them over the years, and that helps you as a tip-off for the following year. And you might even make note, you'll give your kids some gifts this year, you might make notes, after the gift giving of what they especially loved and what might be even a good thing for a repeat or a follow-up gift later. I'm a big believer in written notes for your most special people. Like, I don't find the need to write a lot of elaborate notes about random people, but my special people, yes, I write notes about that and kind of cherish that kind of information, and it makes it more special to me, right? Because part of the joy of the Christmas is not just the getting of the gifts, it's the giving of the gifts and seeing the appreciation of what you're giving to somebody, and that they are going to make good use of what you gave them. So the listing, and that means you should be using this listing idea to, what would you gift a person when the time comes? So I don't wait till December, the day before Christmas to start my list. I started many months in advance, and then as I'm meeting with my kids and other people, and if I think of something good that they could probably use, I make a note of it in my list, and that way I'm kind of preparing myself for an easy Christmas shopping experience. I don't have to go to the store and stand there and wonder what to give them. I go to the store with a list of things, or online shopping with a list of things that would probably be good, and so I can just do that, and it simplifies my shopping considerably by thinking about it outside of the shopping in stores. I think about it beforehand and make a list. certainly you're going to be keeping track of how much you spend. If you got 2 kids, you'd be spending a similar amount per kid. I would think. I wouldn't think you'd go overboard with one, underboard with another. That doesn't seem fair. So you got to keep track of how much you spend on each person. And let's say you're choosing to give gifts to all your family members. Well, then wouldn't it? You'd have to keep track of how much you're spending on to keep it all, kind of in the same general cost range. I would think. The other thing that's pretty handy is a theme of what you'd give a person, your special people. So this year I have a theme that I'm personally working on helping myself with, and since I'm going to all this effort to figure out what is good for me, and I know it'll be good for my 2 kids, so I have a little theme of what I'm going to be getting them, and within that theme I'm having a variety of things that fit with that theme, so I think it'll help their lives quite a bit when I get this for them. And then plus, since it's a similar theme, we'll have a few laughs about it during the opening. And I in regarding this theme, I like to think of things as, I don't really like to give gifts that people that aren't of much value or not much of use to a person, like I'm not sure that I like funny gifts or gag gifts or gifts of no real utilitarian value. I like to think of it as something that person could either use or enjoy and will appreciate. So, let's say when the children are small, what they would really enjoy and use and appreciate are whatever the latest and the greatest games or toys or what have you for their age range. So the kids, when they're small, it's fairly simple because they got age ranges, they got their kids, they're going to tell you what they like, they're going to tell you what the latest is. So that's what you want to focus on when they're small. As they get older, it gets more and more difficult because they're going to have they won't, toys and games really won't be a thing as they get older. They're going to be more interested in other things. But, by this time, they're probably working and they're starting to enjoy getting stuff for themselves. So hopefully they have things for themselves and they're not waiting for Christmas for you to try to better their life, but you're trying to better their life even better. I did want to mention about the joy of giving and having your special people enjoy the getting of the gifts. So I think if a person cannot enjoy getting a gift, they probably have some sort of a self-esteem issue. So if you're as the dad and you're having kids, you would want your kids to have high self-esteem, so you would be wanting them to enjoy getting gifts and showing the appreciation. Okay, right? You wouldn't want them to be sad and say, oh, I don't deserve a gift at Christmas time, I'm not worthy. Well, you don't want that, your kids to have that attitude at all. And mine don't. They love and appreciate the gifts that I have given them, and they're certainly, they understand the financial ramifications of gifts, right? And they know that in the past I've had extreme struggles, so they were appreciative of whatever, even if whatever was kind of small in a monetary sense, and then as things get better over time, you can give them more, but always within the reason of a reasonableness to you. You wouldn't want to go broke giving your kids a huge amounts of gifts that's going to force you to suffer unnecessarily. So why don't you give those ideas some thought? I want to get this out to you in early this month, so you have some time to think about Christmas. All for now.